The fact that prisons aren't safe doesn't really come as a surprise to anyone. However, it seems that as the years go by, violence and tension behind bars seems to increase. One factor that may help explain this phenomenon is the presence of prison gangs, many of which come from a Hispanic origin. With that being said, stay tuned, because in this video, we'll go deep inside the life of Mexican gang members in prison. The prison gangs. Life in prison has never been easy. To survive in such an environment, criminals always had to follow rules imposed by wardens, a set of orders that form a somewhat convict code. Political scientist and academic David Skarbek describes it as basically just minding your own business, trying to stay out of trouble with both guards and other inmates, not ranting or bothering anybody. Sometimes, inmates had success. For some others, there were unavoidable troubles. However, it was a quite simple structure to follow through. In the 1950s, things started to change. Prisons got bigger, and with them, the total inmate population. Everything became more ethnically and racially mixed and more unpredictable. Jails began to receive floods of criminals with all kinds of offenses, and rebels began to emerge, those who would defy the code. Plus, problems such as overcrowding, severe punishment policies, inadequate healthcare, security, and working conditions started to emerge. As a result, little by little, the rules that sustained the minimum harmony in prisons were dismantled, and authorities lost control. Stuck in a no man's land, prisoners had to make a choice: unite themselves or live without protection. And with that, the first prison gangs were created. But what began as simple organizations looking for safety in a hostile environment quickly escalated to powerful groups that are now unified for profit. To talk about prison gangs nowadays is to talk about prominent members who are the true custodians of order in penitentiaries, members who make their own rules and establish all kinds of illicit activities, having wardens in the palm of their hands, members with an influence that is unrestrained by prison bars, enough to keep illegal transactions on the outside and continue to consume rivalries and old vendettas between street groups. According to Skarbek, once those gangs came to be, different groups, unsurprisingly, started a dispute to decide which was the better or bigger gang. An arms race started, and gangs tried to prove their influence and establish dominance by committing homicides and assaults upon one another. A fight that still continues to this day, ignited by the rivalries between gangs that developed throughout the decades for power and control. One could make a quick search and find out that the most prominent gangs in the United States are the Hispanic ones, arguably being the most disruptive and influential ones in impacting American prison institutions and administrations. In fact, one of the first prison gangs to emerge was the Mexican Mafia, or La M. The Mexican Mafia was founded at the Duell Vocational Institution in Tracy, California, in 1956 by former street gang member Luis Huero Buff Flores. It originated with the idea to recruit incarcerated members of established Hispanic gangs around Los Angeles County to form the Gang of Gangs. They would eventually grow and relentlessly control the entire California prison system, the largest in the country. And, let me tell you, they came pretty close to such accomplishments, considering how quickly the gang took hold and grew in both numbers and power. Over time, the Mafia sure proved its reputation as one of the deadliest prison gangs, establishing a real criminal enterprise through all sorts of illegal activities, inside and outside prison: murder, assault, robbery, extortion, drug trafficking, and arms dealing. Los Carnales, as they are also known, don't really shy away from being part of the gang in public. On the contrary, they want to stand out from the crowd by tattooing the gang's symbols all over their bodies. There's actually a common ritual between prison gangs to identify brothers and rivals. You could consider it their military uniform that helps tell their story. For Mexican Mafia members, images such as Aztec gods, two-headed snakes, the letters of Las Letras, and the Black Hand of Death, which pays homage to Sicilian Mafia members, were printed all over their torsos. Its reach was expanded enough to influence thousands to gather around and create other gangs. So, to properly consolidate their power and be able to create a true trafficking network